Hey, welcome to another exciting episode of Dentistry Gone Wild, the official podcast of mobile and teledentistry. Thank you for listening. And you know who's here with us. It's me, Sonya Dunbar, the geriatric tooth fairy, and my partner in success, Melissa Turner.
Here we go, tooth girl in the house, and I'm doing this double peace sign lately. You're just gonna have to go with it, Sonya, because it's just coming. I'm not usually that exciting, but okay. So over the last couple of months, we've been highlighting special people within dentistry, and I'll tell you, these are some of our favorite people, and they're even outside of mobile and teledentistry because we just love all of dentistry. And so today we have another 2022 Denobi Award winner with us today. Miss JoAn Majors is in the house.
There it is. There it is. You see it. You're not going to miss it.
JoAn, thank you for being here.
I'm excited to be with you, ladies. You guys are doing some amazing things. I love people who are disruptive to the industry. And you add a little female power to it, and it's even more beautiful. So good to be with you guys.
Well, here's the secret. We couldn't do it if you hadn't gone ahead and done it before us and paved the way, right? There you go.
We're not alone, right? That's the beautiful thing. And I think as long as, for me, that's something that's really unique. I think about women most of the time. It's really unique when women say, you know what, I got to give a shout out to like this person, this person that came before me, and the person who believed in me, and the person who poured into me and helped me get where I am. And I think that's probably one of the things that I admire most. And really, I'm a little bit in awe of it with you guys because you don't hear a lot of that today. You really don't hear a lot of that from people who are remembering, that there was somebody else out there, trying to climb the hill and not looking up because it was so tall. You just looked at your feet and you kept walking, and all of a sudden you were there at the top. And so it's interesting. And I really appreciate that you ladies continue to highlight that. I think that's something we really all must do. So for me, shout out to Joy Millis, Linda Miles, Naomi Rohde, and the powerful ladies that paved the way for me.
And just in case some people don't know, JoAn, could you just share that you're just like amazing speaker, and you've had some vulnerable moments over the last couple of years, and you speak volumes for women. And one thing that you're not afraid of, and I think that you are a person that paved the way for me. I've watched you afar off for a long time, but people like you and I are not the first pick to speak because we speak from a vulnerable place where we speak directly. We say what we want to say, but in a professional way. But some people just don't say it just like that. Some people are afraid to come on the stage dancing or to say something crazy about their family or their lives. But you do that. So can you just share a little bit about, how did you get into speaking? Why would you say it's so important, and any of the vulnerable points that you want to drop along the way for the younger or the less seasoned dental professionals or women that are listening to this?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for your kind words. I think for me, I was part owner in a dental software, a SaaS company, 30 something years ago. And we knew that the more that we were in front of doctors and teams who understood what our software did, the more that they would say, wow, I want that. And having actually been, in the trenches in a dental office, I was the one selected to really stand up at the meetings and talk about the software and do that sort of thing. And we began to have huge success. We'd have more and more people sign on for the software because I would say, look, this happened to us and we lost, we lost the whole crown fee because we missed this one thing, right? And so it was a software that was about insurance. But anyway, when I did that, I began to have a lot of people come to me and say, I want to do what you're doing. Now, mind you, I was young, barely out of a dental office, and it was about insurance, which shout out to all the insurance heroes out there that we love and know. I mean, like, good on you, because that for me was not very exciting. What was exciting was what I did for the patient. So that's the reason I could actually do it. When I sold that company, I started doing some marketing consulting and went to work for the largest case acceptance program in the country, Walter Haley's dental boot camps years ago. And I began running that organization in the sense that we did research on every doctor and team that was coming. We knew what their pain point was. We knew what they wanted to get out of the meeting. I mean, we would plan this. We'd have 375 doctors and their teams come into the Hill Country in Texas for 3.5 days. So it took a lot of research, and I learned how important research was. So I'd go into later, fast forward, worked with a DSO, one of the first DSOs out there, and was in development and then in training and trained the trainers. And it's interesting, as a speaker, one of the main places I still speak is the AMOS meeting, which is the American Academy of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgeons, because the surgeons were really big, or groups were big about hiring me because they'd pay the fee because they knew I was going to do the training, but the training was so much volume of content that I'd leave this online content that I have for them to implement it. Well, what I learned was early on, I wanted to get to every meeting I could, and I'd speak everywhere for low fees and do whatever just to be able to say I was going and doing those meetings. And you reach a point where, at least I did in my career, that I wanted to be more significant than I did to be successful, at least in what other people felt like success was for a speaker. So I was less interested in going to many, many meetings and telling everybody where I was than I was about being significant with that person on the front row that was going to be in Colorado Springs for instance, in a dental office on a Monday morning. How could I make a difference to that person? Mm-hmm. So, for the last probably 10 or 12 years, I've been really, really focused on, I don't take a speaking gig that I can't make a significant difference on a Monday. It's not in my wheelhouse. It's not in my bandwidth. And I learned that the audience that's going to respond to me will respond because they recognize. I'm going to tell you, we used to joke on our, podcast that I had with Kathy Signo. We would joke and say, she'd say, I'm going to take off my makeup. I'd say, I'm going to lift up my dress. I know, but Sonya, this is exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I would say that and we joke about it, but it was like, I'm going to show you what I have done that really worked. And I'm going to show you why we do it this way, because it really did not work. So it may be just a different way to do something. As I've began to coach, I'm going to say less seasoned speakers. I'm not saying people who are new to dentistry. I'm saying less seasoned speakers, just helping them understand that there's a difference in the delivery of why are you doing it? What's the goal? Is it to have people come to your meeting? Is it to have people to sign up for your course? Is it to inspire people just to make them feel good? Is it to recruit? Understanding that there's got to be a purpose, a real why that you're doing this, and then you write the content for that. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that and they kind of miss that. So that's been a lot of fun for me doing that kind of speaker coaching. And it's really niched, and it's really people who really are, they're here and they want to get here. And it's a way to get the fee up. It's a way to get the respect in a particular niche. And I think that it's always been, for me, for years, it was about looking at those critique forms. And I can't tell you the last time I looked at it. My CE director will send me a spreadsheet that has what everybody has on all these things, and it'll have comments. That's the only time I ever look at it. I used to literally get on the airplane. I'd make sure and pack them in my briefcase, and I got them and I was reading them because that had such an effect on me. And today, that's not what affects me. I am driven by a different purpose, and my why is to change the life of the girl or the boy sitting on that front row that's in a dental practice that thinks they don't have a real impact on the bottom line, because they do. And I think that's what the doctors understand. And that's why I get hired, because my audience wants me to be legit, real. They don't care that I'm married to a dentist. And by the way, I did never work for him. I married him. I was into my career 12 years. They hear that I was
married a dentist. I didn't marry a dentist.
Immediately they go, she doesn't know anything. So I literally built this whole opening that's like something you'd see out of a TV show. I walk up and I say, okay, here it is. And I tell them my age. I tell them how much I weigh. I tell them what size I wear. I'd go through this whole thing and I say, now you know about the real me, but let's talk about that thing about me being married to a dentist. And I say, gentlemen in the room, look at your watch. If you wear a watch, look at your phone. If you don't, because in about 97 seconds, you're going to be saying, when's this broad going to get started? And I said, I'm going to tell you, the ladies and we've got some things to handle. I do it up front. I mean, I'm very bold about it. So
I love it.
You say that it's like, I learned that it's okay if I'm convicted about it. And there's different. it's like when we do our secret shopper and we know what everybody in the audience has already said, and we do this as part of our get them to lean in. I don't do that. I tell people it's not about embarrassment. It's about engagement. I never say a name. I never say who it was. I say, here's what's happening. Now, are you ready to learn? So everything that I do is not about embarrassing anybody. It's about engaging them. And I think that for me, it helps me sleep at night.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I feel like, in the age of PowerPoint, I feel like, well, both of you, I'm going to say both of you, Miss Sonya and Miss JoAn, in the age of PowerPoint, you both are magicians on the stage, because what we're used to now, what my generation is used to now, is to just scroll through the slides, to read through the slides. And we're missing that entertainment value, that engagement value. So thank you to the both of you for being kick-ass speakers on the stage. And I said that word. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it on this podcast. I don't even know.
It's your podcast. You can say what you want.
So very cool. Yeah, I agree. Sonya, you're and Melissa, I'd love to see you speak more than I have, but I think I think you guys are up to something really special. And I think that's where it's going to be different. I mean, I think the thing that's interesting to me is that just Google dental speaker coach. And let's be honest, there are so many people now who are teaching people how to speak, right? And so it's interesting. I don't advertise it a lot. I mean, mine is by referral. I mean, mine's by referral. I mean, I've got, a few DSOs where I worked with a couple of them hygienists, a couple of them clinicians that really knew their content and had great content, but they didn't know how to get people in the organization to sign up for it. Mm-hmm. And I have an instance where there was a young hygienist I was working with her, and she's a badass. Oh, maybe I'm not supposed to say that. Anyway, she's got amazing content, right? And they've got thousands of hygienists in this organization. And she said, in 90 days or something like that, I had 60 people sign up. I said, let me see, do it for me. It was a 10-minute talk. And she said, I've got to give it in 14 days. I said, in 14 days, I can't teach you how to deliver it as a recruiter versus as a teacher, but you're a teacher. You teach people. I said, I'm going to rewrite it for you as a recruiter. I'm going to coach you on how to give it. So she gave it. The co-founding doctor and CEO of the organization was texting me. I was at another meeting and he said, wow, your girl is killing it right now. So it was really cool. And then in 6 days, they had 65 people sign up. So they did in 6 days what they'd taken them, like 2 or 3 months to do, just because it was how the delivery was. And I think I've worked at it and mastered it, and learning from people in the National Speakers Association for me, because Linda Miles, Joy Millis, and Naomi Rhodey all came out of the National Speakers Association, all had earned a CSP. So because that's who I learned from, right? That's what I was going to go do. And we now, fortunately, have other really great organizations in our industry, that are helping to build great speakers. So it's different, right? I mean, I'm a little more gray hair, been around a little bit longer, but it's fun.
I think it is fun. Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was just, you speak about gray hair, and that's really why I go blonde, because you can't tell right now, but a lot of that is gray up there too. But what I'm curious about, JoAn, is for some of the younger generation, we're just now finding our voices. And I'm wondering what advice you have for the younger generation, because, you come out of hygiene school, dental school, assistant school, dental therapy school, you come out, you get your clinical, feet under you, and then it's like, what's next? And so I can name 10 people off the top of my head that want to pursue speaking in dentistry, but they're still not sure what they want to speak about. They don't know what their message is. But what would be your advice to the younger generation who are just now finding their voice?
That's a great question. And I'll tell you exactly what it is in my mind. I remember somebody telling me, I was at a Power Women of NSA breakfast or something. And they said, well, what do you speak on? And so I started talking about kind of what my lane or what my bandwidth or whatever you want to call it. Right. And I remember her saying, wow, that's a lot. You really have a lot going on. And it's like, yeah. And she said, that's interesting. And I said, well, permission to coach me. I said, coach me, tell me how I could be better or how I could do more, because this person happens to be a very, very, very well-known author and voice all over the world. And she said, I'll never forget something that a speaker that was early speaker that has passed away now told her. And it's like, I never forgot it. She said, stick to what you know and stay away from what you don't know. Here's what happens with early on speakers or speakers younger to the industry. I'm going to say, right, less seasoned. You get a chance to speak. You love to speak, and you're pretty dynamic from the front of the room. So somebody calls and says, hey, we've got a spot on Saturday at this meeting, and it's going to be with doctors. Would you speak about practice management? And you want to be on the stage so bad, and you want an opportunity to get in front of these people so bad that you say yes. And you go, and you almost flop. Not because you don't know your content, but because that's not the audience you really cater to. Hint. This speaker was JoAn Majors. I would take almost anything just to get on a podium. And now I'll say, who's involved? Who's the audience? You know, it's not about the fee. It's not about the day that's available until I understand. The only way we can meet and exceed expectations and deliver is in the early on, find out if it's really what you do. It's like she said, stick to what you know and stay away from what you don't know. Quite frankly, I don't want to be in a room full of just doctors. And it's like, but those are the decision makers. That's correct. I'm not saying I won't present to that group because I do it at the Mish Institute all the time. It's nothing but doctors. I have to present to them in 5 minutes about why they should spend all that money and bring their team out to a 2.5-day program. That I can do. It's a different message, right? But stick to what you know. What do you love? And then you can't fall off. You can't fall off the platform if you know the content and you love it. You can't. You won't. It's like, that's what makes it the easiest part of it. Stick to what you know. Stay away from what you don't know.
Now that's wisdom. That's wisdom. Because as soon as you get up there and it's not your lane, someone's going to, and you can study just enough to get by, but someone who knows just a little more than you going to ask you that question. And then you're really going to look crazy.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, JoAn, and that's some good wisdom. That's some good wisdom. And we thank you for sharing that, and just thank you for being the superwoman that you are, for being a strong voice and a mentor to so many in dentistry.
That's sweet. Thank you, guys. And I can imagine that when you two get an opportunity to speak, they want you because of your energy. And let's be honest, when somebody really wants you because they've heard you or they get your energy, because that was kind of me, right? And that's what you ladies are about. It's like you want to do it because you feel so honored and privileged that they see that in you, that you just want to say yes. And my thing is, don't just wait. Just ask a few questions, because it's so easy just to say yes. And I say, here's my little wisdom that I always say to people now. It's like, be quicker to say no than you are to say yes. That is really hard to do. Be quicker to say no than you are to say yes. It's like this. I had to look at it. I looked at the email and I thought, okay, who's this going to serve? Is it going to serve me? Isn't it going to serve others? So for me, this was a definite yes, right? But I don't do everyone that gets asked, because it's not just to do it or be somewhere or hear my voice. That's not my space anymore. So thank you very much for having me. It's been a joy to be with you, ladies.
I wrote that down, JoAn. It's right here. It's right here. JoAn Majors. It's in quotes. I'm going to put it on my wall right there.
I'm sure I heard it somewhere. I always say there's nothing that's new. It's just people recycling what really smart people said ages ago, or it came out of the Bible. I mean, I literally, I've got a few quotes, but I go check and everything to say, because I read so much. It's like, did I get that out of a book? Did I just make that up? Even when I'm writing a book, it's really hard for me. I have people just scour it because I might have heard it in a seminar. It may not be mine to use. So, we have to be careful of those things.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Well, JoAn, if somebody wanted to contact you, what's the best way to reach out?
JoAn with one N. I am Joan. I am actually JoAn with a big A. I say JoAn with a big A. Remember that, J-O capital A-N, one N and a big A. You got it. So JoAn at JoAnMajors.com. JoAnMajors.com. That's the easiest way.
Beautiful. Sonya, anything else before we wrap?
Just thank you, JoAn. And we're so proud of you and honored that you received the Denobi Award in dentistry.
Yeah, it was a pinnacle of my career. It really was. I've earned a CSP and NSA. I've done a lot of different things, and I kept saying to my husband, why am I so emotional? Why am I so emotional? Why is this so emotional for me? He said, because it is your industry.
Hmm.
This is being selected in your industry. It's the industry you've served for years, and not with any expectations to win or get anything. So when you do, it still can make my lip quiver. I am honored and privileged.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's our
Thank
honor
you.
too. Yeah, JoAn, we love you. We love you so much.
Listen, if you guys want to get some wisdom and knowledge about speaking, this is the lady to connect with. Her information will be in the bio.
Mm-hmm. And JoAn, maybe perhaps we can have your presence grace the next National Mobile and Tele-Industry Conference next month.
I hope so. I submitted. If I'm selected, I think it would be a great thing.
Yeah. Wink, wink.
Maybe you guys know somebody you could put in a good word.
Put in a good word. I don't know. We don't know how much we are.
There you go.
Well, JoAn, we love you. Yeah.
We love you. Thank you.
Love you too. You ladies have a good one.
Yeah, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next Monday.
Knock it out.
There you go, right here on Dentistry Gone Wild. Bye, everyone.